So we've had a tactical reshuffle at the club, and it's actually worked for us. I think we may have settled on a tactic now which could be working for us for the rest of the season. And if all things go to plan, it could deliver us a top half finish, perhaps even playoffs. I don't know. It's obviously a long way off until that kind of thing happens, but at least we know something is starting to work for us. Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco. Today, two games for you, away to Oldham and away to Coventry, both in League One. Oldham sinking down below us in the league, but Coventry sitting, in fact they could be top of the table actually, they're doing very well for themselves. We'll look at the table in a minute. Since you were last here though, things have been going fairly nicely for us. So last time you were here, we had that embarrassment of a 6-1 loss to Bristol Rovers. We won't talk about that because that was just too bad. But we did beat Peterborough 3-1 obviously, so that was alright. That was an alright episode. Since then, a 2-2 draw with Rotherham, which was alright to be fair. They went 2-0 up fairly early on, but we came back and got 2-2, so that was nice to see. Mansfield lost 2-1 in the league to them, but that's not too bad. Mansfield find themselves doing very, very well this season, so I'm not too upset with a loss to them. I mean, it was a home game and a home loss, I suppose, but other than that, they're a better side than us at the moment, so I'm not too fussed with that. FA Cup first round against MK Dons, we won that 3-1. Ambrose, Pogba and Whitehouse getting all three of those goals there. And we got the same result against Tottenham under-23s, although we left it very, very late to do so. It was 1-1 all game until Matt Green came on very late on and scored 2 goals in the 93rd and 94th minute to seal qualification to the next round. After that then, we had 2 games against Burton. After that, we had 2 games, the first of which was against Burton, a nice 2-0 win away from home, followed by a 3-0 win against Portsmouth at home. So we did pretty well, actually, overall. It's moved us up to, well, you can see it there, 14th in the table. I'll show you in a second. FA Cup second round against Morecambe, who are in the National League now. They got relegated last season, so that should be a routine win, you'd hope. Scunthorpe in the second round of the Checkatrade Trophy. We beat them 1-0 earlier in the league, but that was only through a 93rd minute goal, so that might go either way, but I'm not really too fussed either way if we win that or lose that. All those results then, table-wise, what it shows is that we are sitting comfortably now in 14th, which is pretty good going, I think. If we look down here, you can see, yep, sitting 14th, pretty pretty, on 26 points, 0 goal difference, so, you know, scored 26 minus, that's good, isn't it? Scored 26, conceded 26, 26 points. I'll take that. I know we're only 18 games into the season, but it does show how close this really is at the moment. 18 games into the season, we're only 4 points off the playoffs. So it's kind of showing how tight it is. It could be even tighter than last season, if we're honest right now. Last season was tight, but considering we're nearly 20 games, nearly halfway through the season, we're this tight with Doncaster still. That's something, to be fair. However, obviously the main aim this season not to get relegated, and as it stands right now, we're 14 points off the relegation zone. So I think we're pretty safe as things stand. Obviously, 50 points is usually safety, so 50 points is obviously the main aim right now. But once you get past that 50-point mark, then who knows where the limit is. So you're asking me, how on earth have these results turned around? I said to you, we've got a new formation. We have got a new formation, but we've got a new philosophy, I suppose I should say. We've used 2 formations the past few games. We've used this one, which you're fairly comfortable with. You know this one, you've seen it a fair few times. The only difference is that we've gone to a counter mentality and a structured team shape, which seems to have worked fairly nicely for us. We used this recently a little bit because the other formation that we're going to be using is the 5-2-2-1-2, whatever you want to call it. This says 5-2-1-2 apparently. We're using this. We've not particularly got great wing backs, which is why we haven't been using it recently, because the 2 wing backs we've had have been injured or suspended in these past few games. So past 2 games I think. But we're using this formation today because I feel Oldham, who are below us in the table, we don't need to go so defensive. The other ones, the 5 at the back is a lot more defensive, I think. So I think we can afford to be a bit more attacking against teams like Oldham, for example. So we can play with this one, but still in that counter-structured. When we play Coventry in the next game, we'll definitely be using this formation on a counter-structured formation, because I feel like we do need that extra bit of cover at the back, especially when they're going to be so good coming forward. However, though, this is the lineup for today's game against Oldham. We've got Smith in goal. He's been a lot better than where is he? Where's he gone? Oh, I remember I took Joe Lumley off the bench on the grounds that we have to have a homegrown player at the club on the bench, which means that Ellis Chapman just by default is on the bench every single game, and it sort of limits some options. So I've taken Lumley off the bench actually. So we go into all games without a goalkeeper now. I think I may have promised him actually some more game time, so he may have to come in fact today maybe this game, because I feel like if we find the promises, where is it? Are we still talking to him about that kind of stuff? Promises. Lumley wants more first team football. He's on orange on that. So we have to start in today's game, I think, actually. So already making changes to my lineups. Lumley starts in goal with a back four of Fools, Raggett, Bostwick and Dickey ahead of him. McCasey, Woodyard and Byers make that middle three. All starting to combine now. We can see there's links between those players now, which is nice to see. Also a nice link between Fools and our left attacking midfielder, Bars. Anderson on the other side and Marcus Barnes starting up front today. He's been in great form recently, scored in his past few games, so he's starting ahead of Ambrose, who's been down the wings a little bit more recently. But if Barnes keeps scoring goals, then I'm happy to keep playing him. Right, kick-off is upon us now. Oldham kicking off today's game, despite being the home team, not being very polite and letting us kick off. I always make a point of that. I like to be kicking off when we're away from home because I feel like it's nice and polite of the other team to do that. I don't know why. It's just in my head that way, which is a little weird actually if you think about it. Byers on the ball then early on in this game, passes it to Barnes. Barnes through to Anderson. Anderson shot in the back of the net. The first highlight results in a goal to us. Oldham 0, Lincoln 1, and this is what I mean. Like, I'm not entirely sure how it's changed things for us, but being a bit more structured, you know, being a little bit more stale, I want to say, not roam from positions too much, just keeping things nice and tight, I suppose. It just seems to work for us. I mean, we can look at the stats here already. 15 minutes into this game, 5 shots to 0 shots. I mean, for whatever reason, it's just worked. A win today, actually, could take us quite high up the table, obviously, because we're only 4 points off the playoffs. As things stand, we move up to 11th. Which I think is quite nice, to be fair. Obviously, we need to get this goal difference up as well, because we've had some big defeats, which has brought the goal difference down quite a bit. As you can see, the teams around us in the league right now, as things stand in this current game, everyone is currently a lot high goal difference than us, apart from Wimbledon. But we need to start scoring a few more goals, not conceding as many, and then we can get this goal difference up. Because last season, that really helped us. Last season, without goal difference, we would have been... Well, we still would have finished, you know, where we did, I suppose, but the goal difference really helped us at some times. Well, a very boring first half there, but at least we are winning 1-0, which is quite nice, to be fair. However, being 1-0 up is a little bit nerve-wracking because one goal can just bring it all crashing back down again. And for all the possession we've had and all the shots that we've had, we've not scored any more goals yet. So once we're 2 or 3-0 up, then I'll be happy in this game. But as things stand now, I'm not entirely happy with how things are going. Only the second highlight of the game now, but it looks like it's coming towards us again as Woodyard nearly loses the ball there, but Byers is there to collect the ball. Woodyard through to Barnes. Barnes has got some pace, but can't quite get there. The clearance from the goalkeeper actually meets its man there, which is a bit unusual. Or maybe it's usual for other teams. It's just unusual for our defenders and goalkeepers to have really poor distribution. Harry Anderson now gets his ball forward, but is picked out by Gerrard, unfortunately. Now Oldham have a chance to come forward again. Oldham, only their first attack of the game particularly, really. I don't think they've done much. They've had 2 shots this game, but I don't think they've had one on target yet. That shot just off target. Oldham are starting to get closer now, and this is what I mean. They've not had a shot on target yet, but all it takes is one shot on target and a goalkeeper to not be quiet on his game, and then they're back in it. So we need to start doing something. Tactically, I'm happy with the way things are going, but I'm not happy with the way Milan Bars has played too much. So we're going to take him off and bring Thierry Ambrose on that left-hand side. He can play as an inside forward more on that side. Woodyard also not had the best of games as well, so we'll take him off. We'll bring Danny Rose on because he always complains it doesn't get enough game time. So we'll bring him on as well in that same position. Although actually, let's bring him on as a ball-winning midfielder perhaps. Or I say that, we don't want to concede goals, so tackling is good. But Carrillo is like a less aggressive box-to-box midfielder. We need some sort of link between the attack and defence actually, so we'll leave him like that. But they're the 2 subs that we'll make right now in this game. Hopefully it will work in our favour, of course. If it doesn't, then... you can sack me, Lincoln. I'll tell you what, you can sack me. I know that's a bold claim to make, but they're not going to do anything, are they? Because it's a game. It's a bloody game. They can't hear me. I can say anything I want. They're not going to do anything, are they? What is only the 3rd highlight of the game looks like it's going to be a red card to their man, a second yellow card to Tom Thorpe, and they've picked up a red card. Now, this is normally where I go fluid and things like that, because try and get the extra man, work the extra man, but considering that we're 1-0 up and it's going well so far, I don't want to change anything particularly, so I'm going to leave it right like that. This is my point right here, actually. I know I said earlier, you know, the one shot on target, that's all you need, really. I didn't realise we only had one shot on target ourselves. There's been one shot on target all game, and luckily for us, that's gone in the back of the net. Their goalkeeper obviously had a mare, because the one shot he had to save, and he's not done it. So, personally, I think a 6.8 rating is too high for him. He had one job all game, because everything's been off target. He's not to do anything else. He had one job, and he messed it up and he's on a 6.8. That should be like a 5.3. Well, a ridiculously uneventful game comes to an end there. Only 3 highlights throughout that whole game. One of them was for a red card, so really pointless. But at least we've come out 1-0 winners here. That's another 3 points in the bag. I will take that. Of course, we've got Coventry next, who coming into this game is sitting 5th. So a different kettle of fish, I think, coming into this game. And in fact, they got a 4-3 win over Oxford, so we know they're capable of scoring goals. However, the 3 goals they conceded, I guess it shows that the defence isn't that great. But we'll have to work things out there. We've moved up to 11th though, which is great, and still only 4 points off the playoffs. So I'm feeling pretty confident going it forward. Actually, this could actually end up being a decent season for us. Coventry are actually heavy favourites of this game. That's a little bit worrying considering that they're that heavy favourites. I'm not a fan of that if I'm talking about statistics and things like that. Ooh, Marcus Barnes coming in there second in Player of the Month, scoring 3 goals in however many games it was. I think it might have been 3 or 4 games. That was all right, to be fair. 7.6 rating as well. He's done pretty well this past month, to be fair, Marcus Barnes. Happy with him. He's done well. What I'm not so pleased about, though, is his potential has now been capped at 3.5 stars, which, again, not the best. He had 5-star potential, like blacked out, obviously, but it was 5 stars. That's now dropped down, so I feel like that's 105k wasted, really, if we look at that. 105k wasted. Right then, a little switch up around today. This is the new formation that we're going to be trying out. Well, we've not tried it out, we've used it before and it's worked fairly well. And I think Coventry is a team that we should be using it against, especially as we're away from home. So Lumley keeping his place in goal. He did well enough last game. He didn't have to deal with much, but he did well enough. Raggett, Dickey and Bostwick as those centre-backs. Garmston and Mills as those wing-backs. They're not the best wing-backs in the world. Obviously, we didn't come into the season thinking we're going to play wing-backs, so we didn't look to sign them. If we stick with this formation, I'll be looking in January at more competent wing-backs. More on the right-hand side than the left. I'm happy with Garmston staying there for now, but Mills, I'd rather get someone else who's a bit more competent at right wing-back in. Byers and Woodyard linking up in the midfield there, leaving Whitehouse as that attacking midfielder in behind Barnes and Ambrose. So, a decent lineup, I think. A decent lineup. Again, Coventry also being very, very rude, not letting us have kick-off. We're away from home, but they've taken the kick-off themselves, which I'm not very happy about, really. They just need to have a little bit more decency about them, I think, as they've come very close to scoring in the opening 20 seconds there. Ball fizzed across the face of the goal twice before eventually being cleared. And now as a highlight, 56 seconds of this game, which really does not fill with confidence considering that first highlight. Although Barnes on the ball now, gets it to Mills, Mills into Byers, Byers gets himself tackled, and the back pass thought was going to fall to our man, but it's not. And it's only cleared as far as Raggett though, so that's good enough for me. Ambrose on the ball, through to Woodyard. Woodyard, shot from the edge of the area, has somehow gone on the back of the net. Wilson makes the initial save, but it just seemed to bounce into the back of the net. And a minute 34 seconds of this game, Coventry 0, Lincoln City 1. Get in there, boys. Right, I'm happy for this to be now. Right, I'm now happy for this to be another game against Oldham, essentially, where there's no highlights, only the one shot on target all game. I'm happy with that. I just want the 3 points. Another highlight now is Mills puts his ball into the area. It's cleared away by Willis and goes actually to a Coventry man, hoping it would bounce back to our men, but it's not. Their clearance, though, is starting to work for them, actually, as McManus comes forward, plays it up to Ugbo. Ugbo shot initially saved by Lumley, but the rebound comes straight back to him. And Ugbo does find the back of the net, bring it to 1-0, 60 minutes into this game, which isn't too bad. I'll take a draw against Coventry, considering where they are in the league. As you can see, though, they are starting to dominate us a little bit, so I'm not too confident on that front. Another highlight now in our favour by looks of things as Whitehouse brings the ball forward. Plays a nice ball out to Ambrose, actually. Ambrose through to Barnes. Barnes, second in Player of the Month, but only second best to the goalkeeper of Coventry right now as he can't get it past him. Results in a corner ball coming in, though, for us. Bostwick on the corners. He's on the corners this season because he's the best crosser who's on the pitch most of the time. Like Habergam and Billy not better than him, but they're not going to play that many games compared to Bostwick. So he's the one taking the corners, which is risky actually now that he's central defender. Thinking about it, perhaps he should be a bit further back in covering things like that. But Raggett comes very close to scoring from another corner there. But Woodyard with his second of the game from the edge of the area absolutely piles it past the goalkeeper there. What an absolute finish! We're 2-1 up against Coventry, who are sitting pretty well in the playoffs so far. To be fair, they're doing really well this season, especially they got promoted last season and in real life aren't particularly doing all that well considering where they've come from and things like that. We've got a chance to come forward again as Ambrose through to Barnes. Barnes blazes it over the crossbar. This is not the player that we had last month scoring 3 goals and getting second in Player of the Month. He's sort of obviously got a bit cocky with it all, but we've got another chance now. These chances for us are coming thick and fast. Garmston into the area, collected by the goalkeeper Wilson. So perhaps these chances aren't coming for us, as now looks like it's going to be a Coventry chance, depending on the distribution here. The distribution, though, to Ugbo worked. It got to their man in the end, but there, Ugbo, or who got the ball there, didn't particularly play it forward well. And now we've got a chance to come forward again. Barnes on the ball again. We know he's a danger man. He's just not shown it too much this episode yet. Although saying that, we've lost the ball again. So things could be going either way right now. Barnes, though, back on the ball into Whitehouse. Whitehouse a shot into the corner of the net. We're 3-1 up away to Coventry now. And dare I say it, 3 points are coming back to Lincolnshire tonight with us. This is fantastic. This change in just mentality. I think it's this change in mentality to more laid-back counter. Let them come to us. We'll stay more structured, so we've actually got defenders in place for when they come forward, because that's where we sort of lacked things in the first few games of the season when we conceded the goals. Like we conceded like 5 goals or 6 goals, things like that. So this slightly more calm approach, I think, to games, and then sort of coming forward when we can come forward is working out for us. In fact, if we win today, this could be the fifth. Oh no, I think it's either the 5th or 4th league win in a row. So this is great. As things stand, we stay in 11th place. But the goal difference is improving, so that's quite nice to see. And it's also keeping us in chance of playoffs, which is a bit weird saying that, considering at the start of the season we were in the relegation zone for a little while. Byers on the ball, though, gets himself tackled, and now Coventry can start to come forward. Dickey makes a nice interception. Ambrose on the ball, through to Barnes. Barnes finally gets his goal to make it 4-1 to Lincoln over Coventry. What an absolute result this is compared to I mean, last game was very good, the 1-0 win, but we've completely stepped up a gear today. And if we're being honest, I think this 5-2-3 formation is actually the way to go. I think we're doing so well. Barnes on the ball once again, gets his cross into the area, onto Woodyard. Oh, Woodyard could nearly get himself. Oh, he's won a free kick actually. I think, in fact, it's a penalty. And Woodyard is taking the penalty because he scored 2 goals. This could be his first ever career hat-trick. His first ever career hat-trick. Now, a few weeks ago in real life, Lincoln played Carlisle. And before that game, Woodyard had scored, I think, 4 professional goals in his whole career. Before that game, I said, we're going to win this game and Woodyard is going to score a hat-trick. I went with my mate who's a big Woodyard fan. And I said, Woodyard is going to score a hat-trick this game. He scored 2 goals, which was like, what? I mean, he scored 4 goals in the career before this. In this game, we were 3-1 up. He'd scored 2 goals. We then get a penalty. And I'm thinking Woodyard is going to get his hat-trick. I've actually predicted this. And then comes the penalty and he doesn't get to take it. Matt Reed took it instead, which Woodyard was very cross about, I think, at the time. And I was cross about it because I predicted a hat-trick for Woodyard. But now he may finally get his hat-trick as he steps up to take the penalty. And he scores it. He's got his first ever hat-trick. What an absolute turnaround this has all been. This new formation is amazing. We're absolutely thumping Coventry away from home, may I add, away from home, 5-1. Look at the goal difference as well. That's what I wanted to see. The goal difference is there. And as things stand, we're only 2 points off Coventry now and the playoffs. So if things start to go well, we could be in the playoffs midway through the season. That is amazing. Mills on the ball, plays it through to Whitehouse though. Chance for a 6th. It's only gone in for the 6th goal. What has happened this game? This is an absolute turnaround from last episode. We lost the game 6-1. Today we're winning 6-1. What performance from the boys. I don't even want to change anything because I should change things. We've got a game at the weekend, but boy, this is amazing. Right. We are going to make some changes because we have got players to rest. Dickey is looking tired. We want to start using him more and more. So Waterfall is going to come on to give him a little bit of a rest. Byers also looking tired. So we'll bring on Danny Rose for him. He can start to play a little bit. We'll take Marcus Barnes off shortly for Pogba. Get Pogba on for a little bit as well. But what an episode this has been. 2 wins. 1 absolutely empathetic win. I'm delighted. Another free kick for them now as they're trying to get back into the game. But quite frankly, at this stage of the game, nothing is going to go their way. They're not going to win the game. Jody James, who was a transfer target of mine, I'll say, as they've just gone and scored a consolation goal there. He didn't want to come, but he is a fantastic winger. I really do want to try and get him in the club because I think he's got a fair bit of decent potential in him as well. So he's a player that I'll look out for going forward if it comes available and he's suited to the squad. But I don't think because Coventry got promoted with us last season, he's ever going to join us, unfortunately for us. Waterfall on the ball then, but gives it away, and Jody Jones, the player we're just talking about, has a chance to come forward, puts it into Ugbo, and it's now 6-3, which has got me worried, especially as I've just said, we've just about gone and won this game. That's got me a little bit worried, actually, thinking about it. We'll take Barnes off now, because he's starting to look tired, and I want to start using him more and more. Pogba can come on for him, sitting as that target man. This is slightly worrying now as we come to the end of the game, but I think we should be too far ahead. Rose's ball comes into the area, clearly away, but only as far as Whitehouse into Waterfall. Waterfall to Pogba. Pogba hits the post. Could have been 7. Ambrose with a chance though. Woodyard still there. Ambrose on the ball. His cross cleared, and that probably the end of a highlight. But that could have been 7. That could have been 7. And there we go. Coventry 3. Lincoln City 6. What an absolute performance that was. What a great game to show you as well. Of all games to show you, I picked this one and suddenly that's been the most entertaining game for quite a while. We'll talk to the team there. We'll go passionately. Please your performance. Well done, boys. What an absolute result. Well, as you can see there, it's moved us up to 10th in the table, 3 points off the playoffs. Portsmouth just snuck in there at the last second, I think. So 3 points off the playoffs, 20 games of the season is very, very good going in my opinion. And this little run of form that we're starting to go on now, look at all those green dots there, absolutely fantastic. 6 in a row, 4 in the league. We've now got 2 cup games and then a few more league games. I think the next one we'll probably play is the Forest game. That'll be an interesting one to show you, especially because I live in Nottingham and Forest Ground's only just over there from me. So that'll be an interesting one because it's technically, I want to say home for me, almost in a way, because I'm literally 5 seconds away from it. We'll take a risk now. We'll praise Woodyard. We know that he's often not been happy with me. When I've praised him before and he said, no, I've not done that well. You were superb in front of goal last time. Keep it up. He's actually taking it on board. Thank you, Alex. I do appreciate that. Because all the previous conversations have not been very, very good, essentially, and that's upset me. But we're starting to get back on level terms now, Alex and I, so hopefully he'll be a bit nicer to me in future. Well, thank you for watching today's episode. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you do drop a like on the video. Remember, there's a likes target of 60 likes across all videos this week. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well for more Lincoln City content and Football Manager content in general. And I'll see you next time when we're taking on Nottingham Forest.